Hello my friends. I'm going to be doing a chameleon pour today for the first time. But before I get to that, I'm going to show you two embellishments and the results of the last pour I did, the stained glass looking one. So here's my great blue heron on this background, and I have to say I'm loving it. It's pretty much just what I had in mind, the background. I have not yet varnished it, but when I do, it's going to be really pretty, I think. Yeah, with this little bit of blue in there, that kind of green blue came out nicely, and I like the dark contrast there against the light of the bird, and I'm very happy with that. So that's that one. This is a pour I did 3 years ago, and I actually had it hanging on the wall. A cloud pour, obviously, and I should link this one because it was interesting. It was an accidental cloud pour. I didn't use any satin enamel. I wasn't intending to get a cloud pour, but I certainly did, and I'll link it, and you can hear the recipe if you want to get this look. But anyway, I had it hanging on the wall for quite a while, and I decided I wanted to paint an eagle, and I took it off the wall and painted it right on top of the varnish. I didn't even prepare it in any way. Usually when I paint onto a varnished piece, I'll hit it with spray, a matte spray, but I was so anxious to start I didn't even think of that step, so I painted right on there, and it worked fine. Now I need to revarnish it, but I'm happy with this one. I'm calling it Freedom. All right, now the dried results of this one. As you can see, the colors dried nice and vivid. They're very pretty, but that was because I just poured the colors in little puddles straight onto the white canvas, so I knew they would dry like that. But you can see that some of the colors bled, the black bled into. But it works well against the green and the red. They're nice and crisp on there, and where else? The dark blue is good, but the yellow is just not a strong enough pigment. The black bled into it, and even the blue to some extent, the lighter blue. So, the orange seems to be okay also. It's interesting. Anyway, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I don't know. Can't remember if I used a different recipe for the black. I may have, and that might have had something to do with it, but I just don't know, and I don't know that it's worth experimenting more. I'm gonna live with it for a while and see if I come up with some way to embellish it in some way. Otherwise, I'll pour over it at some point. So that's that. So for my chameleon pour today, I was inspired by Johnny J-Mo, and using Artist Loft Ready Mix Pour Paints. As you know, I have a bunch of these, and I'm using them up. So I'm going to use those because they're a perfect consistency for this chameleon pour, which is when you use silicone and a toothpick or something to dab it into your poured paint. And I experimented on just this little piece here. It's way too dark though, so I'm going to be adding, I have black, gold, bright blue, and deep magenta, but I want to add some lighter colors to it, so I'm going to use up my turquoise, or aqua green rather, cerulean blue, and silver I'm going to add to the mix, and we'll see what happens. Now this one, well, I'll explain when I get the big canvas out here. So let me get ready and I shall return. All right, I'm back. Let's get going on this thing. I'm pouring over this. It was a landscape I had started, stormy sky, and the foreground, but I didn't care for the foreground, so I scraped it off, and I thought maybe I would brush paint it, but I'm never going to get to it, so I'm going to use this canvas. It's a nice deep canvas. So let's get going. I'm just going to randomly put in several layers of several colors and do a flip cup. Okay, that should be plenty for what I'm about to do here. Now, what I was about to tell you on this one is that I poured this little tiny flip cup in here, and then it's really dark, that's why I added these other colors in here. But I maintained some of the negative space, and I just dropped the oil in certain areas. But when I came back later, the whole thing had just morphed. And I kind of like that organic look. So I may do the same thing here. Instead of just doing, the toothpick thing all over the entire piece. Although I like that look as well, but we'll see. Okay. Now I'm going to tilt to cover the top. I'm not going to worry about the sides. This paint is, many of the colors are pretty transparent, and it doesn't do good coverage on the sides. So when I use these paints, I always paint the sides a solid color. And so that's what I'll do, and I won't worry about what's on the sides, about covering them. You know what I mean. I'm not communicating very well today. Oh, it's so pretty. There's such a beautiful sheen here from the gold and silver metallics. I hope you can see and appreciate that. That's really pretty. I think the paints need to be pretty thin for this technique, and so the straight from the bottle consistency seems to be about right. All right. Well, I'm not going to do any tilting anymore, so let me take my gloves off. Instead of silicone, I'm using coconut milk serum, and I've just poured a little bit into this cup, and I'm just going to take this toothpick and dip it in and go strategically around. Or should I? You know what? I'm gonna do the big spiral, but instead of starting in the middle, I'm gonna start slightly off center, just for a little bit of interest. So here we go. Oh, I think I can do probably maybe about 5 little dips before I need to refill. And I'll wipe the toothpick off before I reload. A little goes a long way. I would love it if they stayed just like this, but we know that they're going to grow and grow, which may or may not be a good thing. I should probably speed this part up too. It's pretty boring. Let's see how they're growing together. So, you know, you want to space them probably an inch apart. I'm thinking that's what I'm doing. This negative space to stay if they just wouldn't grow anymore, but I know they will. So I'll come back and we'll show you the final result in a bit. Okay, my friends, well, it's been at least half an hour, maybe longer. I went and walked my little doggy. So I came back and here we are. It did continue to morph a bit more, but I gotta tell you, I'm fascinated by it. They remind me of those little Italian glass beads, a millefori, I think they're called. But I just love the separation of them in there, and I love those two red ones. They look like Christmas candy to me. Anyway, they're fascinating. I don't know. I think I want to try this again. Maybe I'll use silicone next time and see what the difference might be in appearance. But overall, I'm pretty pleased. I think it's quite fun. Let me know what you think, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you for watching.